Hello everyone, welcome to the Power BI quiz. Also, please say hello to John.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Just.
Hello John, how are you?
I'm really good. Summer's coming to an end where I'm at. It's still the middle of the afternoon, so I'm wide awake. So ready to
Nice.
rock and roll here.
Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to this quiz around SharePoint and Office because you have a background going way back in SharePoint and BI.
Yeah, well, historically, I'm a SharePoint guy. Really, I've been a SharePoint MVP since 2010, but I've been playing with it since 2001. And when we started the business that we currently have, we were a SharePoint services company, but we focused on BI. And at the time, of course, that was Excel services and Performance Point and all that sort of thing. So I've been with Power BI since the beginning and watched it evolve. And really, I haven't shifted my focus completely, but I'm certainly still focused in on the data and insights part of what you can deliver with the Office and SharePoint products. So, yeah, it
Yeah.
goes back a while.
Oh
You
yeah,
can tell
yeah.
with the gray hair.
And then you also run a podcast show, right?
Yep. For the last, is it 3 years? It's been over 3 years now. About 158, I think, episodes now is the
Wow.
bifocal podcast. I do it along with Jason Himmelstein. And we focused in on the news, the Power BI specifically, but business intelligence and Microsoft news of the day. Interviews, we just riff on some of the news. Once a month, we cover off what's in the latest desktop drop, just to keep everybody up to date on all the features and what's happening. So, yeah, we've been doing it for a while now. It's a lot of fun. It's a way to force us to keep up with things.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. So yeah, please, people, look up the podcast show. Yeah, and now we have introduced you, and let's get on to the prizes for today.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the important part.
yeah. So we have this $100 gift card to Lego.com. That's been our grand prize for every quiz so far. And then we have this week also, I will say, because there was also the raffle prize for last week, a voucher to Radacat Academy. And let us just have a look at what you can buy or use these for. So here we have the Radacat Academy website where you will get 1 month free access to all this content. There's a lot of content in here, not only Power BI, also a lot of other content, video courses, and a lot of different training materials also in here if you are the lucky winner of the raffle prize. And if you are lucky and also good at Office and SharePoint integration in SharePoint or in Power BI, sorry, then you can win the grand prize at Lego.com. And of course, this is because I'm from Denmark and Lego is from Denmark, so that's why we picked this one. And so far we have been able to give out 12 or 13 of these gift
Nice.
cards. So I have seen people, some of them have tweeted what they have bought, and that's also fun to see. But you can do it, buy something for yourself, for your little ones. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. So for last week, here we have the attendees in the quiz last week, where Amadeo from Bologna in Italy won. Congratulations once again to you. And Benny got second. And then we had Rishi at a third, and T. Lance, and so on. And as you can see, there was only 9 points difference. In here, it was a really tough quiz last week because it was on developing, that's not what a lot of people will call themselves Power BI developers. But when Ted talks about development, it's a completely other story. It's around embedding. So Amadeo actually won this with 4 out of 10 correct answers, and only because he was maybe 1 second faster in one of the answers than Delaney. So yeah, and actually the week before we only had 30 points between 1 and 2. So it's really, really close in the top here. So, but we had these 34 attendees, and I have assigned everyone with a random index number here. And then, John, would you pick a number here between 1 and 34?
Between 1 and 34, I'm going to go somewhat down the middle, and I'm going to say 19.
19. So this is your mental age?
It really is, actually. I'm 19 with many years of experience.
Oh, yeah. Let's see who is behind this one. And the lucky winner is P. Gendra. And I believe it's actually not the first time that he has been drawn out. And I say to you, it is a random drawing, but we had actually some people have won this raffle more than once. But it is random, and I haven't gotten anything from P. Gendra to be picked again. So, and he was ranked 11 last week, but had this 19 random index number. So the next part, it is the intro of the Kahoot. So for those of you who doesn't have done Kahoot or the Power BI quiz before, then it is important for you to know that you will see the question on your monitor, and then please use your mobile device on secondary monitor to answer. So you have two different devices, so you don't need to shift around. That will at least do your chances of winning bigger. And then you will put in a game pin that you will deliver to you shortly. And then also you should put in a nickname, a full name or Twitter handle, just in case you win the raffle prize, so that I can actually find you. And don't just call yourself Susan. We had one raffle winner that was called that, and I couldn't find her, so yeah. And then we have a 3 to 5 seconds delay. That means you will actually see the answer opportunities on your mobile device before you see the questions. And on the other end, it also means that when there's a timer, it says 30 seconds, you will only have 25 seconds. So don't let the timer run out, because then you don't have the option to answer. And to get you all started, we have one question with no points, and then we have these 3 real questions that John made for us around SharePoint and Office integration, and that's actually both for embedding Power BI in SharePoint, and then also having SharePoint as a source in Power BI. So it's SharePoint on both and also Office 365 questions in there. And the faster you answer, the more points you are awarded. And as you can see with last week, it is actually pretty important to answer fast. But also, if you answer incorrectly, you won't get any points. So you have to find the balance, of course. And you should also be aware that we post all the results public. So we have a Power BI report where we are gathering all the results, so we can follow and announce a winner of it all, so to say. So this was the intro. Then let's get back to the quiz. And I have it here. And I will press start on this one. And here you will have the pin code. And let's see who was first. And we had some familiar names in here and also some new ones. Welcome to you all. And we will just let you come in here. I can see that we have 37 viewers right now, so let's just give it the time so people can join. We have 31 players on now.
SharePoint. Andy. Oh boy.
And let's see, we have 35 players, right? I will start now, and you can always join also after the first question that is not awarded any points. So let's get started. What's the time of the day at your place? You have 20 seconds to this one. Just to have an idea of where your place. I can see in the chat at least we have someone from India and a lot of people from Europe and US. Maybe we also have some. Oh yeah, no one in the morning. That will actually tell us that we don't have anyone from the west side of the US. But we have people from afternoon. That will also be the US evening here in Europe and night maybe in India and Asia. So yeah, that's nice. Let's then get started for the first question that you will get awarded points for. So, what year was Power BI first introduced as a product? And ooh, John, what can you say to this?
Ooh, there aren't too many people got that one, but as I expected, I thought most people would go for 2015. The product you know today as Power BI was in fact introduced in 2015, but Power BI was first introduced in Houston at the Worldwide Partner Conference in summer of 2013. And Power BI initially was a set of technologies that went along with Excel files in Office 365. So Power BI's birth actually is with essentially SharePoint and Office 365. And it brought the ability to have large data models and the ability to refresh data from on-premises with the first iteration of the on-premises data gateway. It was $40 a user a month, so it was a little on the expensive side. And that's what we had for about 2 years until we saw the new, what we called the new or generation 2 of Power BI in 2015. So when they said recently that it was a 5-year anniversary, it's the 5-year anniversary of the new version of Power BI.
Yeah. So this is also related to the quiz of today because it was bound to SharePoint online when it was introduced.
Yep.
Yeah. And then if we talk about Power BI not as a product but as the technology, as you also said, we had Power Pivot in Excel 2010. So you
That's
can actually also say that Power BI is 10 years old. So when people say on LinkedIn they have 10 years of experience with Power BI, it can actually be true. But
yep. If you ever get a chance to find the video of Amir Netz doing the demo when it was released at the partner conference, you got to see. I have a copy of it. He's really quite a demo artist.
Yeah. So this was a little trick question. Let's see the leaderboard. And we have Donald Paris.
All right. All right.
Let's take the next question. This is multi-select. So what tool was used to build Power BI before Power BI Desktop? And
think hard on this one.
So there can be 1 correct answer, 2 correct answer, 3 correct answer, or all 4 can be correct. So and you got 60 seconds to answer because it's a multi-select. To get you also have to press the submit button here. And we just need the last person to answer.
Oh, there's a mix here. So I think we got a few people that got this one right. Excel and Power View. This goes along with the first answer, right? Because this Power BI initially was just Excel in SharePoint. And the tool you use for building the reports, of course, originally was Project Crescent, became Power View. And Power View as a reporting surface is kind of what we see today. It's a different technology we're using. That Power View is, of course, based on Silverlight.
Cool.
Yeah. Um, uh, Power BI Designer is a bit of a trick in there because the original name of Power BI Desktop was, in fact, Power BI Designer, but that was never released as an actual product. So it was never in market as Power BI Designer. And by the way, I wish they'd changed the name back to Power BI Designer because it's a better description. And of course, Report Builder is the tool you use to build paginated reports on premises, or SSRS reports. But today's Power BI Report Builder is really just Report Builder, but for basically designed for the service. So there you have it. Excel and Power View are what we used to use to build these types of reports.
Yeah, and we should say there was a tool called Power BI Designer too. And that's right, there was a tool, but it was never officially launched.
Yeah, before it was released, its name got changed to Desktop, unfortunately.
Yeah. So you can actually find some blog posts on the Power BI site if you search for Power BI Designer, going back to 2014, actually, I think December. But yeah. But yeah, we had Excel and Power View as the first. And oh, yeah, the awful world of Silverlight before it came. HTML5. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah,
good old Silverlight.
And Power View was actually part of SQL Server.
It was. In fact, it was first available in SQL Server Reporting Services. I want to say with 2012.
Yeah.
I think that's right. And you could build RDLX files, and they were the same format.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Walk down memory lane.
To history, yeah. And now we just have one tool. That's also nice.
Yes, it is.
Let's get a look at the leaderboard.
All right.
Oh, it changed a lot. So now we have T-Lanza.
All right.
And then let's have the next question. Also a multi-select.
Multi-select. What can we use in Power Query to open up data in an Excel workbook?
So here you have 1, 2, 3, or all 4 as correct answers. You don't know. So you get awarded 1,000 points for every correct answer, but if one of the ones you pick is incorrect, you will get 0 points. So use your time to figure out. But then again, if you choose one and there's actually 3 correct, then you will miss 2,000 points. So maybe also gamble. Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
Every answer was correct.
Every answer is correct. Now let's be clear. We said an Excel workbook. We didn't say an Excel workbook being stored in SharePoint. In which case, although technically you could kind of do it, it would be outright even if it was stored in SharePoint, because the Excel connector can be used to open that file. You're going to have the right sharing address for it. Folder, you could open it up from a local folder that happened to be synced with OneDrive. But of course, you can use the folder connector to open up files locally and then drill down into the contents of the file. And that's actually going to open up crack open the Excel connector underneath the hood. SharePoint folder is the one, if you're storing data within SharePoint, that's the one I prefer to use. It's got the most flexibility. You can iterate over multiple files. But you can actually use the web connector. If you use the web connector and authenticate properly, it's going to know to call into the Excel connector at the end of the day to go and get the data out of your Excel file. So yeah, all 4 of these connectors can be used to open Excel files.
So yeah, it was actually the web answer people didn't know much about.
Yeah, I figured that.
But yeah, you wouldn't use that if you...
Not normally. You can find that handy. I don't know if you're familiar. I've got on my blog, I have a shark attack file, a report on shark attacks. I've had that for years. And initially, I used the web connector to connect to an Excel file that was literally being stored on somebody's website. That was my data source. They changed the way that worked so that you couldn't just open it that way. So I have to download it now. I have a process to do that, and I'm just using the regular web connector to. Actually, I'm using the SharePoint folder connector to open it because I want it refreshed straight from SharePoint. But there are cases where you'd want to use the web connector to open an Excel file.
Yeah, and Eric is asking, the actual connector is Excel to open and work.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the connector calls into. It's basically the way it forms the M query and behind the scenes. But the first thing you're going to call is say the web, and then when you essentially drill into the binary, that's when it's going to call to the Excel connector.
Yeah. Let's see the leaderboard now, and we have Power Blon, I believe it's pronounced.
Ah, Power Beer.
Yeah, but it is not.
I think I have a coaster.
It's BILER.
Or BIer.
Yeah. Let's have the next question.
Well, Rishi has a very, well, here we go.
Sorry.
Which connector is used to open a file stored in SharePoint or OneDrive?
So here it was a single select one, so.
I think most people should get this one. Yep. SharePoint folder will open a file stored in OneDrive. SharePoint list obviously is for getting at SharePoint list data, not for library data. A file is for getting at a file that is stored on a local drive, and so is a folder is for opening up files that are stored in local folders. But if it's in SharePoint or OneDrive, you're going to want to use the SharePoint folder connector.
Yeah. Then let's see. And it changes something, but not all. We have Amadeo in top 5 again, the winner from last week. Yeah, let's.
Teresa's saying OneDrive is SharePoint. Mostly. Mostly. With some weirdness.
Let's see.
What Power Query column can be used to retrieve the value of a SharePoint rich text field or column?
So, if you haven't done this as yourself, then you will probably just guess.
Yeah, and if you've never heard of this, you're going to be very happy you were at the quiz today.
Yeah.
Let's see how many people have been following my blogs.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Not that many, but more than the rest. Yeah, this is something. When you query a SharePoint list, you're using the SharePoint list connector now. You get a number, in addition to the metadata fields you would expect to see, you get a whole pile of other columns. And that's basically because it's SharePoint. You're calling into the SharePoint API, and you get all of these other columns. And one of the problems, and this is true of various different types, I just picked on rich text in this particular case. But if you have a rich text field, what you're going to get is the content of your column. It's going to be a whole bunch of HTML. And that's going to be almost unusable, of course, in a Power BI report because we can't render HTML in a Power BI report. Unfortunately, I really wish we could. But the fact is we can't. So how do you extract the actual text like the way it would appear in the SharePoint list? Well, there's a column that appears in the Power Query called Field Values as Text. And if you open that up, that's going to have all of your columns. But when you pick all of the columns from the expansion option in that column, if you any of the columns will render as text. So if you've got a person field, the value comes back as a number if you're just looking at the regular results. Well, it'll come back with that person's name. And in the case of a rich text field, it will strip away all of the HTML formatting commands, and you're going to get straight text. And you'll be able to use that well in your Power BI report.
Thank you for that answer. And yeah, we have a reference to your blog, and yeah, I can really say that this is a wonderful blog. I've actually been reading your blog for 15 years, I believe, from the time I started.
Poor you. You've been sleeping well.
I started also doing SharePoint stuff, or BI in SharePoint, and it was a really good source for me back then when I started my BI career. And at that point in time, it was a lot about performance point service, Excel service. Now it's more and more around Power BI, your blog. Let's see. And we...
Oh, but there's some challenge that's getting tighter at the top.
Oh, yeah. But we still have Marcus in front. Let's have the next question. True or false?
The Power BI web part can be used to embed Power BI reports in any SharePoint page. Is that true or false?
And here you only have 20 seconds because it's true and false.
Yep, a quick one. Boom. Haha. We got a few people on this one. We do have a Power BI web part. It's in Office 365. By the way, it does not exist on premises. It's in Office 365, but you can only use it to embed them in modern SharePoint pages. You cannot use it to embed in classic SharePoint pages, which is why the answer is false. If you need to embed a Power BI report in a classic SharePoint page, you're going to need to use the secure embed feature in Power BI, not the web part. It will work nicely, by the way, but that's unfortunately the Power BI web part is a modern web part only.
Yeah, so this one you should read any SharePoint page.
That's right. It's the any part.
So
you never said these questions had to be easy.
Oh, no. And Donald saying,
SharePoint is not a database. Fernando says, boy, wiser words have never been spoken.
Well, Donald saying, yeah, you should always guess false. Let's see the leaderboard now.
All right.
Wow,
big change.
West on top, and then we have a Nexus 151, and that's quite funny because normally it's called Nexus 150, and Nexus is actually Ricardo. And I can tell you that Ricardo actually contacted me a couple of weeks ago because he wanted to do a Power BI quiz in Spanish. So,
oh wow!
So it is Ricardo. He said so. He will actually start it up in Spain and doing it in Spanish, a Power BI quiz to broaden out the concept. So that's really great as part of the Power Platform user group in Madrid or in Spain, I think so. Yeah, nice.
Fantastic.
So if any of you other people in here like to do some kind of Power BI quiz, just contact me. I'm more than happy to help you. Let's get the next question.
Okay, which of these features is not recommended for sharing internal reports? I don't care if it's SharePoint or otherwise, but it's particularly relevant to SharePoint.
Yeah.
Which one don't you want to use? Too easy. All right. Well, I hope a lot of people get this one right. Boom. All right. You've got some good folks on the show.
Nice.
Publish to web should never be used to publish internal reports, period.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it's a part of this quiz Why is it relevant specifically to SharePoint? It's related to the last question, right? Asked about was it the last one?
Yeah.
The Power BI web part cannot be used to embed in classic web pages. And for a long time, that meant classic web pages, you could not embed Power BI reports. Publish to web is actually the only way you could embed reports in a SharePoint page that way. That still didn't mean you should, but it was the only way. And a lot of people, there's still guidance out there that says that's the way you want to do it. It also happens to be free. But the problem, of course, with that is security. Any report that's been published to web is accessible by anyone, anywhere on the net. So if you're publishing, it's got its place. I use it for my Twitter reports all the time. But if you're dealing with internal data, you better never use publish to web.
No, never.
Yeah. Teresa says, I can hear Jason going on about this. We have a little debate back. He says you should never ever use it in any case. And I think, oh, he doesn't quite say that, but that's what he lets on. So I disagree with him about that. But yes, you need to be very careful.
Oh yeah. There are some cases. For instance, when I publish all the results from the Power BI quiz, I do it with the publish to web.
If you're dealing with public data, it's perfectly acceptable.
Let's see the leaderboard. And we have Wish is still on top.
All right.
Let's have the next question. And multi-select.
Which of these data sources can be used with direct query? Is it SharePoint list, SQL databases, Power BI data flows, or Excel? And it's multi-select.
Yeah. So that can be
give them some extra time.
2, 3,
What's
or
that?
4. There can be 1, 2, 3, or 4 correct answers to this one.
Yep. The answers are coming in fast and furious now.
And I think most people have answered this. Unfortunately, there's no 45 seconds option here.
Yeah, I know. It's a little long.
Yeah.
Okay, you can use direct query against Azure SQL databases and Power BI data flows. I'm going to guess most people just picked Azure SQL databases. We'll see. So right off the bat, just in case anybody's unaware, direct query is the ability to go straight back to the data source without having to have the data cached in the model. And to be able to do that, you need to have basically a back-end data storage system with compute capability. And that rules out SharePoint lists and Excel. They're just data sitting in a repository. So any compute has to be done within the model. That's why they're not an answer. Now, up until recently, there's a bit of a trick. Up until recently, Power BI data flows fell into that same category. But as a premium feature, you can turn on what's called the Advanced Compute Engine for a data flow. And what the Advanced Compute Engine actually does is it takes the data from the data flow and puts it in an Azure SQL database. It happens all behind the scenes. This is, you don't have to worry about even thinking about it. But one of the benefits of it, it makes joins faster, but it also makes the data flow available for direct query. So that's why both of these answers are correct.
So that's why, yeah. Thank you for the explanation.
And Donald says, assuming Power BI Premium, yeah, it's a premium feature.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, Rishi said that I thought I remember seeing OData as a direct query source, and maybe SharePoint is.
OData is not a direct query source as far as I'm aware. No, it shouldn't be. You don't know what the compute is on the back end.
No, I can't figure out how it could be, but yeah, it could be a trick question because actually, yeah, it is a SharePoint quiz, so you would maybe thought you should pick SharePoint lists here.
You got to know what you can do with it and you can't do with it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's have the next question. Question number 10 or 9 of the real questions.
This is it. When stored in a SharePoint library, which files can be refreshed by Power BI without a gateway? And this is multi-select.
Yeah.
Think hard. And make sure you read the question.
Yeah, you have 60 seconds. So Yeah, maybe all 4 correct, maybe only 1, maybe 2, maybe 3.
Correct.
And you don't have the false option here if you don't know the answer, so you can just pick false.
We shall see.
Oh yeah.
All right. I wonder how many got the
Yeah,
right
we
three.
can't see that from this graphics. I can see it behind the scenes. I have all the answers in a report afterwards.
So it's a tough one. The Excel connector itself, or SharePoint folder, all of those things, they know how to open both an XLSX file and an XLS file. So if you're using Power BI Desktop, you're not going to see any difference. The difference is the service. The Power BI service itself does not know how to open an XLS file, an old style Excel file. You can refresh those files, but you have to go through a Power BI gateway. So you want to have those XLS files stored on a local drive. And when you do that, by the way, you have to have the ADO. Is it ADO components? There's a component that has to also be installed on the workstation or the server that is hosting the gateway machine itself, and that's used to open those files. So if you want to refresh directly. If you want to refresh directly from the source and the file is stored in SharePoint, you can't update an XLS file. You can update CSV or text files, or of course the XLSX file. So if you want to be able to do that, you need to make sure your files are converted. Your Excel files are XLSX.
Yeah, so it was without a gateway.
That's it. That's the key right there.
So let's see. Here people can get 3,000 points.
How'd we do?
It could be changing something here. Let's see. Yeah, we have Donald Paris at the top, and he's got quite a lead right now. But we saw both last week and the week before that it actually changed with the last question. So let's have the last question, and the last question is also awarded double points. So I believe all in top 5 can still win the quiz, or maybe even top 10 or even more. Let's have the last question.
All right. This should be fairly. We'll see. Double points. What product can be used to display Power BI on premises today? What are you going to use if you want to display Power BI reports on premises today?
So it was a single select. We could have done this as a multi-select just to have it a little harder, I believe. But
probably should have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got a good one. All right. Power BI Report Server is, of course, a superset of SQL Server reporting services, not in integrated mode. That doesn't exist anymore. But it renders RDL files just the way SSRS always did, but it also renders PBIX files. That's what it does. Power Pivot for SharePoint. As much as we used to love the product, and I'm laughing as I say that, no longer exists. A lot of this stuff no longer exists. And on-premises data gateway, of course, is not used to render reports on premises. It's used to get on-premises data up into the Power BI services, up into the Power BI service, where the reports are rendered. So yeah, Power BI Report Server is the tool if you're still living in the Stone Ages and doing everything on premises.
Yeah. There can be some legal things.
I'm sure there are, but yeah.
But it is, from my understanding, not a product that Microsoft want to continue if they cannot.
I think Chris Finland might take exception to that.
Oh yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
They're bringing it along as long as people want it, and as long as it's relatively easy to maintain. It's still getting lots of new features.
So. Oh yeah. I actually thought about having Chris Finland doing a quiz only on Power BI.
Oh, he'd be fun.
Yeah.
He'd be a fun one to have on here, because he's from the field originally too. So yeah.
But then I won't say to him that I think it will be discontinued. Yeah, let's announce the winner. Let's see.
All right.
The top 3 on the podium. Number 3. Wow.
Number 3, Power BI.
And then I believe it can only be Donald
Donald.
Paris.
Yay!
Oh,
There we
congratulations,
go.
Donald. Donald has also been on the quiz for a couple of times, and
Wow.
now he's got all the way to the top. So congratulations to you, Donald, and also to Rish and Power BI or Power Blon. And thank you for all for attending the quiz. It was really nice also to have you on the quiz, John.
Thanks. It's been a fun experience. What a blast.
And yeah, thank you for taking the time out. And yeah, next week we have Melissa Coates doing a quiz on enterprise deployment. She is the author of this white paper. So if you want to prepare for the quiz for next week, you can go and read her white paper to have a better chance of winning.
That's a lot of reading.
Oh yeah, I think it's nearly 100 pages or something like that. But
oh, it's big, yeah.
So around how you should deploy Power BI in enterprise. And yeah, thank you for being here. And have a nice day, John, and nice evening, day, night for all of you who've been participating in the quiz. Bye bye.
Thanks very much. Bye bye.